At the edge of our understanding lies a quiet cosmic riddle. The faster we try to go, the heavier we become. A paradox woven into the fabric of reality itself. Tonight, we drift through that mystery, past the illusion of limitless speed, into the gentle machinery of space, time, and the laws that bind them. Feel the hum of the cosmos beneath us, the soft drag of physics whispering its ancient rules. For every dream of reaching the stars, there is a truth waiting patiently in the dark. Why can't we ever touch the speed of light? And what happens when we try? Like and subscribe if you enjoy journeys like this. It truly helps this little corner of the universe grow. Now, settle in, breathe deeply, and join me as we drift into the vastness. Let's begin. There is a number etched into the universe itself. 299,792 kilometers per second. Light's velocity, the fastest anything can move. And yet, the moment we try to reach it, reality begins to resist, revealing that this limit is more than a speed. It's a boundary of existence. As we drift deeper into this quiet cosmic night, imagine a spacecraft gliding effortlessly between the stars. Its engines hum with a steady, calming rhythm. The darkness is smooth and velvety, like a blanket stretched across infinity. But the moment the ship tries to push harder, to go just a little faster, the universe gently pushes back, not angrily, not violently, but firmly. The way an ocean resists a hand trying to slice through it too quickly. At first, the difference is subtle. Time on board begins to stretch. Minutes feel normal to the travelers, but to anyone watching from the outside, those same minutes begin to dilate, slowly, then dramatically. It's as if the ship is trying to climb an invisible hill, one that grows steeper with every heartbeat. Each increment of speed demands exponentially more energy, more effort, more sacrifice. Mass begins to increase as well. Not in any way the passengers can feel, but in the mathematics of the universe, the ship grows heavier, denser, more difficult to push forward. It's an invisible weight, a kind of cosmic inertia woven into the fabric of reality. Approaching the speed of light isn't like stepping on a gas pedal. It's like trying to outrun your own shadow. Every step forward slows the next. The stars outside start to behave strangely, too. Their gentle, familiar twinkle stretches into thin lines of blue-white light. The front windows gather the glow of the cosmos, concentrating it until the night ahead seems to burn with a silent, intense radiance. It becomes a river of photons rushing toward us. But even then, even with all this strange beauty, the ship can never cross that final threshold. No amount of power can deliver the last push. Light speed remains just beyond reach, like a horizon you can walk toward forever but never touch. And yet, there is something comforting about this limit. Something soothing in the idea that the universe has boundaries that protect us from tearing ourselves apart. If we could reach the speed of light, our bodies would warp, our atoms would distort, and time would behave in ways no living mind could withstand. Instead, the cosmos keeps us just slow enough to survive, just constrained enough to endure. So the ship glides on, fast, incredibly fast, but always shy of that ultimate cosmic barrier. And in that gentle restraint, there is peace. A reminder that some thresholds are not meant to be crossed, but appreciated from afar. Out here, drifting beneath ancient starlight, the speed of light is not a goal. It is a quiet guardian of reality. At low speeds, mass feels constant. But as velocity increases, your mass subtly grows, like a quiet burden stitched into your particles. By the time you brush against light speed, you become infinitely heavy, an impossible passenger. This change isn't something you could ever feel with your hands or sense with your skin. It doesn't press down on your shoulders or tighten your chest. Instead, it lives deep within the mathematics of the universe, an invisible weight added grain by grain, atom by atom, the faster you move. Imagine walking through a serene forest where each step adds a feather to your clothing. At first, you would barely notice, but as the feathers accumulate, the walk would become a slow, weighted journey, each step demanding more energy than the last. This is how motion behaves near the speed of light. The faster you drift, the more feathers collect. The universe doesn't shout its resistance, it whispers it. Time and space simply begin to hold you more tightly, reminding you that speed has a cost. In the darkness between the stars, that cost becomes profound. Inside our imagined spacecraft, nothing seems different. The quiet hum of machinery remains steady. The cabin lights glow in soft gold. You float gently in microgravity, the ship's interior as peaceful as a drifting dream. Yet the equations describing your motion have changed dramatically. Your mass has swollen, not as matter, but as momentum, as resistance to further acceleration. It's a strange kind of heaviness, a weight that exists only when you try to push forward. If you could see this phenomenon, it might look like subtle ripples in the fabric around you. The universe gripping the ship a little tighter with every additional fraction of a percent of light speed. The engines strain, not loudly, but with a quiet, deep effort. They burn more energy than ever before, each burst of power less effective than the last. The ship wants to move, but the cosmos begins to cradle it, holding it back gently but firmly. Approach light speed closely enough, and the numbers grow absurd. Your mass, once ordinary, once familiar, stretches toward infinity. To push an infinite mass even a millimeter faster would require infinite energy. It's an equation that closes the door, gracefully but decisively. No matter how advanced your engines, no matter how brilliant the technology, you cannot escape this boundary. The universe simply will not allow it. And yet, there's beauty in that limitation, a serenity. Because in a cosmos so vast, rules like these are not obstacles. They are guardians. They keep matter stable, stars intact, and you safely anchored to a realm where time flows gently and predictably. Without this invisible weight, atoms would unravel, energy would behave chaotically, and reality itself would lose its shape. So as you drift through the infinite dark, gaining speed but never quite enough, remember this. The universe adds weight not to burden you, but to keep you whole. To move at all is a gift. To accelerate is a privilege. And to be slowed by the cosmos is simply its way of keeping every traveler safe within the bounds of existence. To go twice as fast, you need 4 times the energy. Push harder, and the requirement explodes. Near light speed, the energy needed rises toward infinity, as if the universe gently says, no further. Energy, in this cosmic context, isn't just fuel or power or something you burn in an engine. It's the very permission slip that allows you to move through space. And the faster you try to go, the more permission you must request from the universe. At low speeds, this exchange feels simple, almost effortless. A push, a pulse, a tiny burst of propellant. But the moment you begin reaching farther, asking for more, the universe starts asking for more in return. Imagine drifting through the dark aboard a quiet starship. The engines awaken with a soft, glowing thrum, like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. A gentle nudge forward sends you gliding between the stars. At first, acceleration feels light and easy, like dipping your hand into a river and drifting with the current. But as you ask for more speed, those soft engine pulses grow stronger, deeper, as though they're pushing against the very fabric of existence. The laws of relativity begin to whisper their warnings in subtle ways. Each additional increment of velocity demands disproportionately more energy, like trying to sprint through thickening air. The space ahead seems open and welcoming, yet the invisible architecture of reality resists with perfectly balanced determination. Picture a lantern in the dark, burning steadily. To make it twice as bright, you must pour in not twice the fuel, but far more, energy that scales not linearly, but explosively. The ship becomes that lantern. The faster it moves, the hungrier it becomes. It devours power at an astonishing rate, as though speed itself has become a voracious creature with an endless appetite. Soon, the engines pulse with radiant intensity. Their glow deepens into something almost alive, illuminating the cabin walls with faint ripples of blue and white. Yet no matter how much energy they consume, the acceleration grows slower, smaller, more reluctant. You are pushing a boulder up an infinite hill, and the hill grows steeper every second. Near the speed of light, the demand becomes absurd, so immense that even the power of stars would not be enough. Entire galaxies' worth of energy wouldn't grant you that final fraction of a percent. The cosmos has placed a gentle hand against your chest, not to punish, but to protect. And in that limit, there is a kind of peace, a comforting truth. The universe is not a place of reckless extremes, it is a place of careful balance. Every rule is a thread in the tapestry that keeps stars burning, planets orbiting, atoms intact, and life able to exist at all. So as your ship glides through the endless dark, fast, incredibly fast, yet forever slower than light, let the soft hum of the engines remind you. Some horizons are not meant to be crossed, and the beauty of the journey lies in approaching them, not surpassing them. For a traveler, time stretches into something fluid. Clocks slow, moments elongate, and your journey becomes a quiet drift through hours that no longer match anyone else's. It begins subtly, like the soft bending of a shadow at dusk. You might glance at the ship's clock and watch its seconds tick at their normal, gentle pace. Yet far beyond your vessel, on Earth, on a space station, on any world where time flows in its ordinary rhythm, those same seconds begin to drift apart. Your heartbeat remains steady, but the universe quietly adjusts around you. The faster you move, the more elastic time becomes, as if the cosmos is stretching it like warm taffy pulled between stars. Inside the ship, everything feels familiar. The hum of engines, the dim lights, the soft weightlessness surrounding you like a dream. But beyond the hull, the laws of physics have begun their silent symphony. Each bit of acceleration folds the timeline more deeply, turning minutes into hours and hours into something no longer easily measured. Time becomes a private landscape, one that belongs only to you. If you could watch yourself from an outside perspective, your movements would begin to slow. Every blink, every step, every breath would appear drawn out, stretched thin by your growing velocity. You would move as though submerged in honey. Yet from where you stand, nothing feels different. Time is loyal to you, faithful, familiar, while simultaneously slipping away from everyone you left behind. As the ship glides through the dark, the distance you travel becomes almost irrelevant. Space seems to flatten, compressing in the direction of your motion. Stars grow closer, not because you cover the miles faster, but because space-time itself bends to accommodate your speed. And as space compresses, time responds with equal grace, slowing itself to maintain the harmony of the universe. Your journey becomes a serene, drifting dream. A traveler moving near light speed becomes an island of slower time, floating through a rushing cosmic river. Entire civilizations could rise and fall in the time it takes you to cross a single interstellar gulf, and you would never feel the shift. There's something deeply peaceful about this, something soothing. To move at such speeds is to escape the hurried ticking of ordinary life, to slip into a gentler rhythm where time no longer presses forward with its usual urgency. It becomes a companion instead of a ruler, soft, flowing, malleable. And in this softness, a realization emerges. Time doesn't bend to punish or confuse. It bends to preserve the ancient symmetry of the cosmos. The faster you move, the more carefully it wraps around you, slowing your experience so that nothing fractures, nothing breaks. So you drift onward, wrapped in a cocoon of stretched seconds, surrounded by the velvet hush of deep space. Your hours may no longer match the universe's, but within your vessel, they remain yours, quiet, steady, and beautifully unhurried. At relativistic speeds, Even a grain of dust becomes a bullet. A ship traveling near light speed would need armor strong enough to survive, impacts carrying the energy of explosions. Space, from a distance, looks empty, quiet, still, serene. But once you move fast enough, even emptiness becomes a storm. Tiny particles the size of sand, atoms drifting like snowflakes, even solitary molecules waiting in the void. All of them transform into hazards when you race toward them at a fraction of light speed. What was once harmless becomes powerful. What was once gentle becomes dangerous beyond comprehension. Inside the imagined starship, everything remains peaceful. The soft lights glow, the engines hum like distant thunder, and the cabin air carries the faint scent of metal and quiet. But outside, the universe changes its personality. Each particle becomes a spark waiting to ignite. Each dust grain becomes a weapon shaped by velocity. The ship sails into a sea of invisible meteors, silent, swift, and relentless. To survive this cosmic storm, the vessel must be built not like a yacht, but like a moving fortress. Its hull can no longer be thin or fragile. Instead, it must be thick, layered, and capable of absorbing energies that rival the fury of dying stars. Imagine armor that glows faintly from the kinetic heat of each microscopic impact, shedding particles like embers drifting from a fire. The ship becomes a shield, its surface alive with tiny flares of light, each one a collision too quick for the human eye to capture. Engineers imagine exotic materials, metals forged under impossible pressures, carbon lattices woven tighter than diamond, magnetic fields wrapping the ship like invisible skin. Some designs propose great shields at the front, smooth, curved plates that deflect incoming particles into harmless streams of plasma. Others imagine a cloud of ionized gas emitted ahead of the ship, vaporizing dust before it ever reaches the hull. But even with all this protection, the danger remains. A pebble drifting in the dark, a fragment no bigger than a fingernail, would strike with the force of a bomb. A shard of rock the size of a fist would carry the energy of a falling star. At relativistic speeds, matter becomes fury. Velocity gives it purpose. And yet, in this danger, there is something profoundly humbling. Space reminds us that speed is not just motion, it is responsibility. With great velocity comes great vulnerability. The faster you glide through the dark, the more carefully you must shield yourself from the universe's quiet debris. So the ship sails cautiously, wrapped in its armor of layered metals and whispering magnetic fields. Outside, particles streak past like faint comets. Inside, the traveler feels nothing but calm. The ship takes the beating so the dreamer may drift in peace. And in that peace is a deeper truth. The universe is beautiful, but it is not gentle. To explore it is to accept both its wonder and its peril, and to build vessels strong enough to protect the fragile life within. A star's fury may be distant, but at near light speed, even dust carries its echo. The faster you go, the more space itself becomes a hazard. Cosmic rays shift into deadly beams, turning the void ahead into a storm of invisible fire. At gentle speeds, cosmic radiation is like distant rainfall, occasional, predictable, and mostly harmless with the right shielding. But once you begin approaching relativistic velocity, that quiet drizzle transforms into something far more dramatic. The universe ahead of you compresses. Light shifts. Energetic particles, once meandering through space with no particular urgency, are swept up into a fierce, concentrated torrent. Space becomes a river of high-energy protons, nuclei, and photons, all rushing toward you with unimaginable force. Inside the ship, you feel none of this. The cabin remains peaceful, a softened twilight filling the interior. Instrument panels glow with steady blues and greens. Every sound is muted, wrapped in the hush of deep space. But beyond the hull, the void crackles with energy. Cosmic radiation becomes amplified by your speed, like raindrops hardening into needles in a powerful storm. These particles are ancient, born from supernovae and black hole jets, drifting across the universe for millions or billions of years before finding themselves suddenly face to face with your ship. At relativistic speeds, even a single cosmic ray carries enough energy to disrupt electronics, pierce metal, or slice through unprotected human tissue. They arrive not as gentle visitors, but as streaks of invisible lightning. To survive this storm, the ship must become more than a vessel. It must become a sanctuary. Layers of shielding wrap around it like the rings of a tree, each one designed to absorb or scatter the radiation before it reaches the fragile life inside. Some layers are dense, stopping charged particles dead in their tracks. Others are designed to spread the energy out, transforming deadly beams into harmless glimmers of heat. And beyond physical armor, magnetic fields swirl around the ship, shaping invisible currents that guide the radiation away like wind redirecting falling snow. These fields ripple and shimmer, unseen by human eyes, but vital, like a guardian spirit watching over every traveler. Yet even with all this protection, the storm ahead remains daunting. The faster you go, the stronger it becomes. Radiation blue shifts, its energy rising like a tide that will never recede. Push hard enough toward the speed of light, and the soft glow of space transforms into a bright, dangerous blaze. The universe itself begins to glare. But there is beauty here, too. A strange, haunting beauty found only in extreme frontiers. The radiation storm is not angry. It is simply the cosmos being itself, ancient and powerful, unchanging in the face of human ambition. It is a reminder that the universe is vast, and that exploring it requires respect, preparation, and awe. And so, your ship sails on, cocooned in its protective layers, gliding through a tempest no human eyes can see. Inside, you drift in silence, breathing softly, feeling as though you're wrapped in a dream. Outside, the storm rages. Inside, you remain untouched. A lone traveler moving through a universe that burns brightly, fiercely, beautifully. Most drag comes from air or friction. But at extreme speed, the very geometry of spacetime becomes a resistance, a soft but unyielding fabric pulling back. Imagine moving through a perfectly silent ocean. There is no wind, no waves, no current pushing against you. Yet, as you glide faster and faster, the water thickens. It clings, it stretches. It becomes a weight you must continuously push aside. This is what spacetime does, near light speed. Not because it wishes to slow you, but because motion, at its deepest level, is a conversation with the universe. In ordinary life, you never notice this conversation. Drive a car, ride a bike, even soar in an aircraft. Space-time behaves like a perfectly smooth floor, letting you slide across it with ease. But when velocity climbs to a significant fraction of the speed of light, the universe begins to answer back. It shapes itself differently around you, bending in a way you can't see, can't touch, yet undeniably feel in the mathematics that governs your journey. Inside the ship, nothing appears unusual. The cabin lights still glow in their warm, golden hue. The hum of the engines remains steady, like a gentle heartbeat echoing through metal walls. You look out the window and see stars stretched into faint streaks of white, drifting past so softly they resemble falling snow. Everything feels calm, effortless. And yet, beneath that calmness, space-time is thickening. It's subtle at first, just a small increase in the energy required to accelerate. But it grows, step by step, layer by layer, as if the universe is weaving a denser fabric the faster you move, pulling gently at the hull, resisting your progress not with force, but with geometry itself. Einstein described it as curvature, a bending of the cosmic tapestry. At high speeds, you begin to feel the edges of that curvature. Your momentum tugs at the lattice of space-time, and the lattice responds by holding you back, not violently, but firmly, like a parent keeping a child from leaning too far over a balcony. Acceleration becomes harder, the engines burn brighter, their hum deepens, resonating through the ship like distant thunder. You're no longer battling dust or radiation, you're battling reality's own shape. And there's something deeply soothing about this. A reminder that the universe has boundaries, contours, a texture you can't perceive with senses but can feel in motion. It's not a barrier meant to frustrate, it's one meant to preserve stability, to keep space coherent, to ensure the symmetry that allows stars to shine and planets to orbit. So the ship continues, gliding through the dark with its engines whispering their steady song. The drag of space-time is ever present, but gentle, like a soft hand resting on your shoulder, guiding you, reminding you of the delicate harmony that governs everything. In this slow dance between motion and geometry, the universe becomes not a void, but a companion, a quiet force that shapes all journeys, even the ones racing toward the speed of light. And as you drift onward, wrapped in the deep hush of the cosmos, you feel it, the universe pulling back, not to stop you, but to keep you safely within its endless, perfect design. At near light speed, years may pass for everyone else, while only days pass for you. You leave home and return to a future that moved on without you. It begins quietly, without any fanfare. There's no alarm, no flashing light, no sudden shift in sensation. Time simply slips into a new rhythm, delicate and subtle, like a whisper changing pitch. You feel normal, your breath calm, your heart steady, your body weightless in the soft cradle of the ship. But outside your vessel, the universe begins to hurry ahead. As your velocity climbs toward the cosmic limit, your personal clock slows. Not in a way you can perceive, but in a way the universe measures with perfect precision. Your seconds remain seconds. Your minutes remain minutes. Your life ticks along as smoothly as ever. Yet on a distant Earth, those same minutes begin to stretch, multiplying into hours, then days, then years. Imagine drifting through the stars while holding a cup of warm tea. You take a sip, feel the steam curl against your face, watch the soft glow of the cabin lights reflected in the liquid surface. The moment feels ordinary, gentle. But somewhere far behind you, oceans rise and fall with tides you'll never witness. Cities glow through nights you will not sleep in. Generations grow older while you feel barely changed. The ship becomes a kind of bubble, an island separated from the vast river of time. Outside, everything rushes forward. Inside, everything stays quiet, still, unhurried. To those you left behind, your journey stretches across years, maybe decades. Your absence becomes a chapter in their lives. Children grow, seasons turn, technology advances. The world you remember slowly shifts into something new. Yet for you, only a handful of days may pass. A week, perhaps. A month. A blink. It is travel not just through space, but through epochs. The deeper truth behind this is woven into the fabric of relativity. The faster you move, the more space-time reshapes around you, bending itself into a form that protects the consistency of reality. Your motion carves a distinct path through the universe, one where time flows differently, softly, like a stream taking a quieter route through the landscape. There is beauty in this phenomenon, but a quiet sadness as well. Because a near light-speed journey is always a trip into the future, never the present, never the past. You may return, but not to the moment you left, not even close. Standing once more on your home world, the air familiar yet changed, you might search faces for the ones you remember. Some will be older, some gone, some transformed by years you did not share. You will be the traveler who slipped through the seams of time, returning as a memory come to life. And yet, there's a gentle grace in this too. Time dilation reveals that existence is far richer and stranger than our everyday experience suggests. It shows that speed is not simply motion, it is a rewriting of time's script, a reshaping of reality's tempo. In the quiet hum of your ship, drifting between distant stars, you feel this truth settle gently around you. To chase near light speed is to step out of time's current and return to find the river has rushed far ahead without you. Distances begin to shrink, the universe compresses in front of you, as though trying to fold itself out of your reach. Stars that once seemed impossibly distant now slide closer, like points of light drawn together by invisible hands. Space itself becomes a soft, malleable fabric, stretching and contracting in rhythm with your motion, whispering the strange truth that distance is not absolute, but relative. As your speed climbs toward the cosmic limit, familiar patterns warp. Galaxies flatten like sheets of paper pressed against a tabletop. Nebulae, once sprawling clouds of gas, narrow into streaks of color that streak past your windows. It is not just the stars that change. The very corridors of emptiness between them compress, a subtle squeezing that bends your perception of motion. You feel as though you could reach out and touch points of light that, in normal circumstances, would take decades to arrive at. Inside your vessel, the effect is both thrilling and disorienting. Instruments that measured distance with confidence now whisper numbers that defy intuition. What once was a journey spanning light years now contracts into a passage measured in weeks, days, or even hours. It is a universe reshaping itself around your motion, a reminder that speed is not merely movement through space, it is a dialogue with space itself. Yet, even as the universe contracts, time marches differently for you. The paradox is subtle. While distances shrink before your eyes, clocks tick more slowly aboard your ship compared to the outside world. Each second feels stretched, a private rhythm in the symphony of the cosmos. You watch the compressed galaxies drift past, knowing that for observers at rest, your passage appears both slower and longer. Reality becomes a layered illusion, where space and time no longer behave as they once did. And your mind, however grounded, senses the subtle tug of the relativistic frontier. It is a meditation on motion and scale. The void that once seemed eternal now bends, as though inviting you to explore its secrets without ever leaving your seat. Colors deepen, horizons sharpen, and yet the universe retains its quiet majesty. A bridge forms between your perception and the cosmos, a private, intimate corridor through which you travel. Each moment becomes a window into the fabric of reality itself, a chance to experience the vast and the minute simultaneously. As you glide further into this contracted realm, a profound calm settles. The sheer, incomprehensible distances of space no longer intimidate. They guide. You are no longer merely moving through space. Space itself moves with you, bending in understanding, compressing in acknowledgement of your velocity. It is a cosmic embrace, subtle and gentle, urging you onward while reminding you of the delicate, beautiful interdependence of speed, distance, and time. In this quiet compression, the universe whispers its deepest secret, that space is not rigid, not unyielding, but responsive. The farther you go, the more it bends to the language of motion, and the more you realize that the journey is not simply through space, but into the very nature of reality itself. From your perspective, your ship seems to slice through space effortlessly, but from the outside, you never reach the limit. Two realities trying to coexist. Inside, your senses perceive speed as fluid, graceful, almost magical. Stars streak past in elongated trails, painting your windows with ribbons of light. Nebulae twist and curve, their colors smeared across the cosmos like a celestial brushstroke. Every pulse of the engines, every subtle adjustment, of course, feels instantaneous. You glide, seemingly defying the very rules that govern the universe. Yet the universe beyond your vessel tells a different story. Observers at rest would never see you break the ultimate barrier. No matter how fast you feel, the light speed limit remains intact, an invisible hand preventing any true transcendence. You are caught between the intimate reality of your motion and the objective reality outside, a duality that can feel disorienting, like swimming in a mirror-strewn sea where every reflection moves differently. From their point of view, you accelerate, yes, but asymptotically. You approach, forever nearing the cosmic horizon, yet never quite touching it. Inside the ship, this paradox is almost poetic. You measure journeys in days that would take centuries to an outside observer. Distances compress, time stretches, and your motion becomes a private rhythm, a secret conversation with space-time itself. It is a reminder that velocity is not absolute, and perception is a delicate companion to physics. The universe, it seems, accommodates your illusion, bending subtly around your trajectory, offering glimpses of speed that exist only within your frame of reference. The visual effect is mesmerizing. Light from distant stars shifts, colors blending and splitting in ways impossible at lower velocities. Blues deepen, reds elongate, and the familiar constellations twist into new, unrecognizable patterns. It is as though the universe is performing a private ballet for you, a dance choreographed by the interplay of speed, light, and time. Every glance out the window is a lesson in relativity, a hypnotic reminder that what you see is never exactly what is out there. There is a quiet humility in this illusion. No matter how fast you travel, nature enforces its limit gently but firmly. It allows the experience of speed, the thrill of near-light motion, yet preserves the cosmic rules that prevent true faster-than-light travel. It is a paradox that comforts rather than frustrates, a universe of structure and freedom, intertwined. You feel both constrained and liberated, moving in a private corridor of space-time where the impossible seems almost tangible. And in this delicate tension, a profound sense of wonder emerges. The universe is not simply a backdrop, it is a partner in your journey, shaping perception even as it remains immutable. Every moment becomes a meditation on limits and illusions, on the gap between experience and observation, on the fragile beauty of trying to touch infinity. Faster than light may be forever beyond reach. But the illusion teaches a deeper truth. The journey, and the perception of it, is where the universe truly opens its arms to you. Near light speed, equations that once felt certain begin to stretch dangerously thin. Classical physics collapses, relativity takes full command. Your intuitive understanding of motion, the comfortable rules that guided every journey through the familiar world, suddenly feels inadequate. Mass, momentum, and energy no longer behave as expected. They twist and bend under the enormous strain of extreme velocity, revealing the fragile scaffolding beneath reality itself. Every calculation, every measurement becomes a delicate negotiation with the cosmos. The faster you go, the more this boundary asserts itself. In your instruments, numbers climb toward infinity, approaching limits that cannot be reached. Mass grows heavier, energy demands rise, and even the space around you seems to resist motion. It is a soft, invisible pressure, a subtle warning from the universe that the rules you once trusted are now provisional. You are no longer merely a traveler, you are a witness to the fabric of existence testing its own limits. Time, too, bends in unfamiliar ways. Seconds stretch and contract, unmoored from the steady rhythm you once knew. Clocks aboard your ship tick at a private pace, slower than those of anyone observing from a distance. Outside, centuries may pass in what feels like hours inside. This dissonance creates a quiet, almost surreal solitude. You are separated from the world not just by distance, but by the very flow of time itself, floating in a liminal space where cause and effect remain intact, yet unrecognizable. Visual phenomena intensify as well. Stars ahead compress into brilliant lines, light shifts in color and intensity as wavelengths stretch and squash with every moment of motion. The universe feels alive, responsive, almost sentient in its resistance. Every glance outside the window is a reminder that physics is not an unchanging backdrop, but a living framework, bending and flexing around the extremes of speed. The boundaries you once took for granted now appear more like suggestions than rules, guiding your journey without fully restraining it. Yet there is a profound beauty in this breakdown. The collapse of classical certainty reveals the deeper, more intricate order of the cosmos. Relativity does not punish or frustrate, it illuminates. It offers a new perspective, a glimpse into the underlying coherence of the universe at extreme conditions. You sense the delicate balance between what can be known and what remains mysterious, between the predictable and the infinite. It is a lesson in humility, a meditation on the limits of knowledge, and a reminder that exploration is as much about understanding boundaries as it is about crossing them. In this fragile frontier, the universe feels closer, more intimate, even as it stretches to extremes. You are suspended at the edge of comprehension, floating between certainty and paradox. Here, near the ultimate speed, physics itself becomes part of the experience, not merely a tool for measurement. It is an intricate dance of forces, a cosmic ballet that whispers its secrets only to those willing to travel to the very edge. And in the quiet of this boundary, a subtle truth emerges. The universe is not broken. It is revealing the depth, complexity, and elegance hidden within its own laws. Even the most advanced antimatter engines cannot supply infinite energy. The universe simply does not contain enough fuel to push a mass to light speed. Every calculation, every theoretical design, collides with the hard reality of scarcity. Energy demands grow exponentially as your speed climbs, an insatiable hunger that no vessel, no matter how ingeniously constructed, can satisfy. You feel the invisible tether of the cosmos pulling back, a reminder that the dream of ultimate speed is constrained by the very fabric of reality. Inside the ship, systems hum and glow with controlled fury, channels of energy straining against the impossibility of the task. Antimatter reactors blaze with brilliance, yet even their vast output is dwarfed by the requirement of reaching light speed. Each thrust burns more than fuel. It burns imagination, ambition, and the naive hope that anything might truly surpass nature's limits. You watch the displays carefully, reading numbers that climb faster than intuition can follow, a stark, hypnotic testament to physical laws. Outside, space itself offers no help. The vacuum that seems infinite is no source of energy. It cannot be harvested to propel you beyond the cosmic boundary. The stars, distant and beautiful, remain untouchable, their light teasing you with the illusion of accessibility. Even the most elegant engine, the most clever manipulation of mass and acceleration, eventually bows to the unyielding arithmetic of the universe. It is not failure, it is physics asserting its quiet, immutable authority. And yet, within this limitation, there is a strange grace. Knowing that you cannot surpass light speed forces a deeper engagement with your journey. Every acceleration, every maneuver becomes precious, measured not in conquest but in understanding. The struggle against impossible energy demands is mirrored by the subtle joy of traveling near light speeds, experiencing firsthand the wonders of time dilation, length contraction, and relativistic effects. The limitation itself becomes a guide, shaping your perception of motion, space, and the intimate interplay between mass and energy. Visuals outside the window remind you of both wonder and restraint. Stars streak past in brilliant arcs, galaxies smear into luminous trails, and yet the motion is tempered by the knowledge that you cannot fully outrun reality. Every light year traveled feels like both an achievement and a gentle reminder. The cosmos cannot be rushed. Its vastness is humbling, its rules unbroken, its distance is sacred. This reality also carries a philosophical weight. The universe, in denying infinite energy, teaches patience and respect. It reminds travelers that ambition has bounds and that understanding is as valuable as conquest. You feel the delicate balance of motion and limitation, of speed and supply, and sense the profound truth that the laws of nature are not obstacles, but the canvas upon which your journey unfolds. In the quiet hum of your engines, amid the luminous blur of stars outside, the lesson settles gently. No vessel, no matter how brilliant, can escape the arithmetic of existence. And yet, the very effort, the striving against the impossible, illuminates the beauty of space, of energy, and of motion. The ship may never reach light speed, but in the attempt, it moves through a universe that bends perception, warps time, and whispers its secrets to those daring enough to listen. Momentum builds until it becomes an immovable force. Accelerating further becomes like trying to shove a planet. Inside your ship, every adjustment of the engines feels heavier, as if the mass of the cosmos itself presses back. Your vessel, once nimble and responsive, now resists motion with a quiet, relentless weight. The faster you go, the more the universe seems to conspire against acceleration, transforming what once felt effortless into a subtle struggle with the very fabric of reality. From the outside, your speed appears limited. Observers see your ship inch toward the light speed barrier, ever approaching yet never quite reaching it. But inside, you experience the sensation of pressing against an invisible wall that grows denser with every push. Momentum is no longer a simple measure of motion. It is a force that towers like a mountain, a cosmic boundary that cannot be crossed, no matter the energy applied. Every thrust burns more than fuel. It burns against resistance so immense that it is almost philosophical, a lesson in the impossibility of transcending natural limits. Even the instruments betray the struggle. Readouts climb toward infinity, warnings blink in quiet alarm, and every sensor seems to whisper the same truth. Momentum is absolute, unforgiving, and infinite in its demand. The laws of motion, which governed your early journeys with gentle predictability, now dominate with relentless certainty. Each attempt to accelerate is met with diminishing returns, each calculation a reminder that physics does not bend for ambition. The effect on perception is subtle but profound. Light from distant stars stretches, compresses, and warps across your windows, reflecting the immense energies in play. Galaxies flatten and smear as though the universe itself is contorting in response to your motion. Even time seems to conspire with momentum. Slowing within the vessel while outside, centuries might pass. It is a paradox of experience. You feel both the immense power of speed and the immovable weight of resistance simultaneously, suspended in a delicate, almost hypnotic tension. Yet within this wall of momentum lies a strange beauty. You are confronted with the ultimate dialogue between motion and mass, energy and resistance. It is a cosmic lesson in humility. A reminder that even the most advanced technology is measured against forces far greater than itself. The struggle is not defeat, it is an intimate encounter with the principles that govern the universe. A silent conversation between your ambition and nature's immutable rules. As the engines hum and the stars stretch into streams of color, a quiet awe settles in. You realize that this wall, this infinite resistance, is not merely an obstacle, it is a gateway to understanding. It teaches patience, reverence, and the profound elegance of universal limits. The ship may never break through, but in facing this immovable momentum, you glimpse the grandeur of a cosmos that is both vast and exacting, a universe that rewards careful observation as much as daring motion. And so, suspended against the wall of infinite momentum, you drift, not defeated, but enlightened. The journey itself becomes the reward. Each struggle a meditation on the intricate balance of energy, mass, and motion. The stars outside, compressed and stretched, seem to nod in quiet acknowledgement, as if the universe itself appreciates the delicate dance of a traveler pressing against its ultimate boundary. Gas, dust, even lone atoms become hazards. At near light speed, each one carries the destructive force of a meteor. What once floated harmlessly through space now transforms into a relentless barrage, tiny projectiles with energy magnified by your motion. The interstellar medium, so sparse it seemed empty, suddenly feels dense and alive. A subtle, invisible threat pressing against the hull. Every fragment you pass through releases bursts of radiation, sparks of energy that remind you the void is not passive. Inside your vessel, sensors flash warnings, shields flare, and protective layers strain to disperse the invisible collisions. Each encounter is brief yet intense, like tapping a hammer against a wall that fights back with every blow. The hum of engines is joined by the faint crackle of particles striking the hull, a whispered reminder that nothing in space is truly still, and speed transforms even emptiness into a battlefield. You are moving through a cosmos that seems to resist your motion, a universe that is indifferent but not inert, shaping your journey in ways both subtle and profound. Visually, the effect is mesmerizing. Microscopic impacts radiate tiny flashes, light bending and scattering across your windows. Gas clouds shimmer like halos of distant fire. Dust grains streak past like sparks in slow motion. Every glance outside reveals a universe in motion, a complex ballet of matter that gains destructive potential simply by the velocity of your travel. It is a reminder that speed is not just an acceleration of distance, it is a magnifier of consequence, turning even the smallest particle into a force to respect. The psychological effect is subtle, almost hypnotic. The danger is constant, yet manageable, creating a rhythm in which attention and calm coexist. You are both observer and participant in a delicate dance, where awareness of the universe's hidden motions becomes as crucial as any calculation. There is a strange intimacy in this interaction. The void is no longer distant, abstract, or empty. It is tactile, present, and alive with energy. Each particle that strikes, each micro-collision, is a note in a silent symphony that underscores the fragility of motion at the edge of light speed. Yet amid the hazard, there is wonder. The universe, in revealing its hidden potency, also reveals its structure. You see patterns in the drift of matter, streams of particles shaped by gravity, radiation, and cosmic history. Even the dangers themselves are instructive, showing the intricate architecture of space at scales that ordinary travel could never unveil. The collisions teach caution, yes, but also insight, inviting a deeper appreciation for the subtle, pervasive energy that surrounds every star, every cloud, every fragment of interstellar matter. As you glide through this invisible storm, a quiet humility settles over you. The speed that compresses distance and bends time is the same speed that magnifies the tiniest speck into a potential hazard. You feel the immense scale of both risk and discovery, the delicate balance of motion and environment. And in this drift of cosmic particles, the universe whispers its truth, that even in the emptiest spaces, there is weight, consequence, and the beauty of forces unseen, patiently waiting to reveal themselves to those willing to travel at the edge of reality. At high speed, turning becomes impossible. Even the smallest curve would require forces that could tear a ship and its passengers apart. At velocities approaching the speed of light, inertia dominates, an unyielding presence that refuses to bend. Your vessel, sleek and powerful as it may be, transforms into a fragile arrow of motion, capable only of traveling straight through the cosmic void. Any attempt to alter course becomes a negotiation with physics itself, a reminder that speed carries with it constraints that are both subtle and absolute. Inside the ship, the reality is almost tangible. The control panels remain responsive, yet the sensations of turning, the gentle feedback you once relied on, vanish. Accelerators, thrusters, and stabilizers strain against the immutable laws of inertia. Even the tiniest deviation from a straight trajectory would generate forces far beyond what the human body can endure, threatening to squash, stretch, or otherwise overwhelm every fragile organ. It is a quiet, constant tension. A reminder that motion at the cosmic limit is not freedom, but a delicate agreement with reality. From an external perspective, the effect is stark. Observers would see your path as nearly perfect straight lines, arcs that curve only infinitesimally, and adjustments so minute that they border on imperceptible. The universe itself seems to enforce this discipline, its laws bending your ambition back towards simplicity. The cosmos allows speed, acceleration, and motion, but only in ways that preserve the safety of mass and energy. Turning, twisting, or weaving at near-light velocities is not impossible only in theory. It is actively forbidden by the mechanics of space itself. The visual impact is subtle but profound. Stars and galaxies slide past your windows in unbroken ribbons, unbroken because the trajectory cannot bend. Constellations, once familiar and comforting, appear to stretch and skew with motion. their shapes elongated by the combination of speed and the inability to alter course. Every glance outward reinforces the lesson. At these speeds, direction is as precious as velocity, and the cosmos itself becomes a corridor through which you must travel with respect, caution, and awe. Yet within this constraint, there is a kind of serene clarity. Straight-line motion transforms your journey into a meditation on momentum, focus, and the relationship between mass and speed. The impossibility of turning becomes a rhythm, a cadence, a reminder that the universe's laws are not arbitrary, but a framework for safety, coherence, and predictability. Each second of travel, unbroken by sharp curves or sudden shifts, is a lesson in balance, a hypnotic pulse that guides your perception of motion, distance, and time. Psychologically, the restriction fosters humility and calm. You are at the mercy of the universe's rules, yet in yielding to them, you gain freedom of understanding. The journey becomes less about bending reality to your will and more about moving in harmony with the cosmos itself. The ship is a vessel not just through space, but through the delicate architecture of physical law. Every moment of straight-line flight is a quiet celebration of survival, knowledge, and the awe-inspiring limits imposed by the universe. In this way, the inability to turn at near-light speed is not a failure, it is a reminder of how vast, powerful, and precise the cosmos truly is. Straight or unbending, the path becomes a conduit for wonder, a corridor where physics, perception, and imagination intertwine, carrying you forward through a universe that is both beautiful and unyielding. Frictionless though space may seem, the radiation ahead becomes compressed into searing heat. The hull heats as if falling into a star. At near-light speeds, photons, normally harmless particles of light, gain energy with every moment of your passage, transforming into a relentless furnace. What was once a gentle glow now strikes with intensity. A wall of invisible fire that presses against your ship with every pulse of motion. Space, so often imagined as cold and empty, turns suddenly hostile, reminding you that even the void carries power when approached at extremes. Inside, systems strain to cope. Shields flare, cooling channels run at maximum capacity, and the hum of machinery is joined by a faint, almost imperceptible vibration as energy disperses through the hull. Every panel, every control, feels the proximity of immense forces, subtle but insistent. It is a heat that cannot be ignored, a reminder that motion at these velocities is not merely a journey, it is a negotiation with energy itself. The universe, normally distant and gentle, asserts its presence through this radiant pressure. The visual spectacle is hypnotic. Ahead, light no longer behaves predictably. Photons stretch, compress, and brighten as they slam into the ship, painting the viewport with a searing aurora of colors impossible at slower speeds. Blues become blinding whites, reds burn with sudden intensity, and the cosmos ahead appears to glow like molten metal. You feel as though the universe itself is pressing toward you, a river of energy flowing into the bow of the vessel. The beauty is dazzling, yet tinged with the quiet knowledge of danger. Psychologically, the effect is profound. You are moving through space not merely as a traveler, but as a witness to the raw potency of light and radiation, forces normally filtered or diffused by distance. The heat is both a threat and a teacher, emphasizing that speed is inseparable from energy, and that even the emptiest spaces conceal potential perils. Each moment is a meditation on vulnerability and preparation, a hypnotic awareness of the interplay between velocity, mass, and the radiation that saturates the universe. The danger, though immense, is coupled with awe. In these extreme conditions, the familiar rules of distance, speed, and safety dissolve. Space becomes tangible, alive with energy, and your vessel is a fragile conduit through which the power of the cosmos is both experienced and managed. You sense, in a subtle, almost dreamlike way, the delicate balance between survival and exposure, between acceleration and the radiant forces that follow your path. As the ship glides forward, the searing light seems to recede slightly, controlled by shields, by distance, and by careful navigation. Yet the lesson lingers. The universe is never truly empty, and motion at near light speeds transforms every particle, every photon, into a force to be respected. Heat is no longer abstract. It is immediate, pressing. In this corridor of light and energy, the universe whispers its dual message. Speed brings freedom, insight, and wonder, but it demands respect, preparation, and awe. You move not through nothingness, but through a river of force, carrying with you the quiet knowledge that even in the vast, silent reaches of space, the cosmos retains a fire that could melt steel and a beauty that is impossible to forget. Light ahead condenses into harsh blue radiation. Stars that once glowed warmly now burn with fierce, blinding energy. At near light speeds, the photons rushing toward your vessel gain energy, their wavelengths compressed into the extreme blues of the electromagnetic spectrum. What once felt distant and benign now sears with intensity, a reminder that motion itself transforms perception and transforms danger. The universe, once gentle and inviting, becomes a theater of raw, almost violent energy. Inside the ship, the effect is both mesmerizing and urgent. Viewports glow with concentrated light, instruments flicker under the intense photon bombardment, and the hull hums as shields disperse incoming energy. The familiar constellations have lost their comforting shapes. Instead, stars stretch and warp, their brilliance sharpened into piercing streaks of blue-white fire. Even the emptiest reaches of space seem alive, a luminous storm racing toward you, silent but relentless. The visual transformation is hypnotic. Nebulae, clouds of gas and dust that once appeared soft and diffuse, now flare with brilliant icy hues. Galaxies flatten and elongate into streaks, their colors pulled toward the violent end of the spectrum. Light, normally gentle enough to illuminate without harm, now carries palpable intensity. Every glance outward reminds you that speed changes everything, not just distance and time, but the very nature of energy itself. Psychologically, the blue shift is profound. There is awe tinged with a quiet fear. The universe has shifted from passive observer to active participant in your journey. Every star, every photon, seems charged with intention, a subtle pressure that underscores the stakes of near-light travel. You are no longer merely moving through space, you are interacting with it, experiencing the universe in its most energetic and unfiltered form. It is both beautiful and demanding, a reminder that the cosmos, vast as it is, responds to the presence of motion. Even as you navigate this luminous storm, there is clarity in the hazard. The blue shift teaches patience, precision, and respect. It shows that acceleration has consequences beyond speed and time, that energy and perception are inseparably linked. Each photon that strikes the shields, each streak of compressed light across the viewport, becomes a lesson in the intimacy of motion and the fragility of your craft. The universe, in all its brilliance, reminds you that even light itself is not neutral. It is transformed by your passage through it. Amid the danger, there is strange serenity. The rhythmic blur of stars and galaxies becomes almost musical, a soft pulse under the hum of engines. Blue-shifted as it may be, the cosmos continues its ancient patterns, offering beauty even within extremes. The experience is a meditation on speed, perception, and the energetic nature of reality. In this condensed, radiant universe, a quiet truth emerges. Motion is not simply displacement, it is transformation. The faster you go, the more the cosmos reshapes itself before your eyes. Stars that once comforted now blaze. Radiation that once was distant now sings against your hull. And the universe itself reminds you of the profound interplay between velocity, light, and the unyielding laws of nature. You are both traveler and witness, moving through a universe transformed by your own motion, alive with blue fire, and humming with the energy of light itself. Your ship begins to push against the structure of spacetime, creating shockwaves that ripple like invisible tides. At near-light speeds, motion is no longer simply through space. It is a negotiation with the very fabric that defines existence. Every acceleration sends subtle disturbances cascading outward, a quiet, persistent reminder that the universe is both a stage and a participant in your journey. Space, usually passive and receptive, now resists, bending and undulating under your influence. Inside the vessel, the sensation is almost imperceptible at first, a faint quiver, a soft vibration through the hull. But as speed climbs, the effects grow. Instruments detect minute warping, sensors record tiny fluctuations in gravitational fields, and even the hum of engines seems to echo against the stretched lattice of reality. You are no longer merely traveling through the cosmos, you are interacting with it, leaving a trace on the structure of space-time itself. Each pulse of the engines creates ripples, subtle yet profound, as if the universe itself responds to your passage. Visually, the effect is hypnotic. Light ahead and around you bends, shifting in subtle arcs. Stars blur, not merely from speed, but from the stretching and compression of space itself. Distant galaxies ripple like reflections on a pond disturbed by a gentle breeze. It is a cosmic symphony, silent yet vivid, a delicate dance of energy and geometry that cannot be fully captured by words or instruments. The universe becomes dynamic in ways normally hidden, revealing the underlying fluidity of existence when motion approaches its ultimate extremes. The psychological impact is equally profound. You sense a new kind of responsibility. Every acceleration, every adjustment in velocity sends effects outward, subtle but measurable. The cosmos, vast and indifferent in normal conditions, now feels intimate, responsive, almost sentient in its subtle reactions. This awareness brings a quiet humility. Speed is power, yes, but it is also dialogue. You are a participant in the universe's rhythm. Your ship, a note in the complex, eternal melody of space-time. Yet within these ripples lies a strange beauty. Relativistic shockwaves are not destructive in this context. They are delicate, like the wake of a bird skimming across a still lake. They reveal a hidden layer of reality, a perspective inaccessible at ordinary speeds. You glimpse the elasticity of existence itself, the way space can bend, ripple, and flow in response to energy and motion. Each moment of near-light travel is a meditation on connection, on the subtle interplay between observer, vessel, and cosmos. As the journey continues, the ripples settle into a rhythm. You move with them, not against them, attuned to the ebb and flow of space-time. The universe, once a static stage, becomes a living medium, one that responds to motion and presence. Your speed, your trajectory, and your passage through these relativistic waters teach a quiet lesson. Even the vast and immutable has texture, resistance, and elegance. In this corridor of motion and distortion, you are both explorer and witness. The shockwaves are invisible yet perceptible, subtle yet profound. They remind you that travel at the edge of light is not merely displacement, it is participation in the fabric of reality itself. Each ripple is a whisper from the universe, a quiet acknowledgement that motion shapes the cosmos, even as the cosmos shapes the journey. In ways both beautiful and humbling. As you race toward light speed, your messages take longer to reach home. Conversations stretch into impossible distances. What once was instant, a simple greeting, a question, a reassurance, now becomes a journey of its own. Each signal must travel across the void, racing at the cosmic speed limit itself. And even that is no longer enough to make time feel immediate. Replies arrive years, decades, or centuries after you send them, fragments of a past that no longer exists in the same way. Inside your ship, the silence is palpable. The hum of the engines and the faint creaking of the hull become companions, filling the space that human voices once occupied. Instruments continue to flicker with data. Charts display your position, velocity, and trajectory, but the connection to home is stretched thin across the unimaginable expanse of light years. You find yourself speaking aloud into the quiet, your words echoing without answer, a meditation on absence as much as communication. the effect on perception is profound. Each delayed response reminds you that time, distance, and motion are intertwined in ways rarely experienced in ordinary life. You are moving through a reality where simultaneity is impossible. What seems present to you is far in the past to someone observing from home. Moments of intimacy, reassurance, and shared experience fracture across the vast gulf, leaving only a ghostly trace of connection. The universe, in its immensity, enforces both separation and patience, teaching that understanding and relationship must expand to match the scale of space. Visual cues compound the sense of isolation. Stars streak past in long arcs, nebulae smear into luminous ribbons, and familiar constellations warp into unfamiliar patterns. The scenery is breathtaking, hypnotic, and yet it reinforces the reality that distance is absolute in its consequences. You are immersed in motion that stretches not only space, but the very meaning of presence. Home is visible only as memory, communication only as delayed echo. Every attempt to bridge the distance underscores the scale of the universe and the profound limitations imposed by light-speed travel. Psychologically, the silence teaches patience and introspection. You learn to live in a rhythm dictated not by immediate feedback, but by cosmic intervals. Messages that once brought comfort now arrive as relics of a bygone moment. Your thoughts, reflections, and observations accumulate in real time for you. Yet for those you wish to reach, your experiences belong to the past. In this suspended state, you develop a quiet awareness of the relativity of existence itself, an understanding that connection is as much about perception as it is about physical distance. Yet in the quiet, there is a subtle beauty. The delay turns every message into a precious artifact, a token that transcends ordinary time. The universe, in enforcing its rules, also grants a profound perspective. Human intention, memory, and experience exist alongside cosmic motion, creating layers of meaning that ordinary life cannot reveal. You are simultaneously connected and isolated, moving both forward and apart, learning the delicate balance between presence, absence, and the scale of the cosmos. As your ship races onward, the silence becomes less a void than a companion, a reminder that even when words are delayed across the reaches of space, the universe still carries your journey, and every message sent is a bridge across the vast, unfathomable distance between stars. Inside the ship, all feels normal. Controls respond, engines hum, and the rhythmic pulse of life aboard creates a comforting sense of continuity. Your senses report a world of motion, of travel, of progress. Stars glide past the windows, nebulae smear into elongated ribbons of color, and yet, internally, the experience is smooth, almost gentle. You feel speed, yes, but it is a speed framed entirely by your perspective, a private tempo that belongs only to the vessel and its passengers. Outside, the reality is profoundly different. Observers at rest would see your ship frozen, almost suspended, locked in a peculiar slow-motion dance against time. Movements that feel instantaneous inside, the shift of a lever, the glance of an eye, the adjustment of a thruster, stretch into a languid, surreal procession for anyone watching from afar. You are both swift and immobile, racing through space while appearing to stand still, caught in the strange, intimate paradox of relativistic perspective. The visual effect is hypnotic and disorienting. Stars ahead compress, elongate, and blur, warped by your motion. The familiar geometry of space itself bends, stretches, and warps, revealing that speed is not absolute, but a fluid relationship between observer and observed. Inside, time flows naturally. Outside, it stretches infinitely. You move forward, yet the universe seems to hesitate around you, as though the cosmos itself acknowledges the delicate boundary you are crossing. Psychologically, this duality is both comforting and eerie. You feel control, agency, and momentum within the cabin. Yet the knowledge of your external appearance introduces a quiet, reflective tension. You are navigating a paradox in real time, experiencing the sublime truth that motion is never singular. It is relational. Every second aboard the vessel is simultaneously a moment of accelerated experience and an echo of frozen time for the universe beyond your hull. The stars themselves seem to participate in this illusion. Light from distant suns bends, shifts, and pools in ways that defy everyday intuition. Galaxies smear into brilliant arcs, and constellations stretch into unrecognizable shapes. The cosmic stage is alive with motion, yet your passage leaves an almost imperceptible imprint from the perspective of those at rest. Inside, all appears smooth and continuous. Outside, it is a suspended tableau, a slow-motion ballet of your journey through a universe that obeys rules far stranger than your senses suggest. Amid the paradox lies a subtle lesson in humility and wonder. You are both participant and observer, moving with grace and restraint, experiencing the private reality of speed while acknowledging the immutable laws that govern the outside world. The illusion of light speed is a reminder that perception, motion, and time are intertwined in ways that defy ordinary experience, and that the universe holds secrets that can only be glimpsed from within the vessel itself. In this corridor of relativistic perspective, there is beauty, clarity, and introspection. The paradox of speed becomes a meditation on existence, a quiet exploration of how the universe behaves under extremes. Inside, you travel with comfort. Outside, you are a frozen figure in a cosmic dance. And in this duality, you sense the profound truth of motion, that the journey is as much about perception as it is about distance, and that reality, at its edges, is always richer, stranger, and more beautiful than it seems. Electrons resist being pushed to higher energies. Particles inside you fight against the momentum, as if biology itself rejects the journey. At velocities approaching light speed, even the fundamental components of matter, those that feel immutable and permanent, begin to resist the extraordinary conditions of motion. Your body, normally a vessel of comfort and routine, becomes a theatre for forces that are usually abstract, distant, or theoretical. Each atom, each subatomic particle, strains against the acceleration, whispering the quiet but profound truth that motion at this scale touches every level of reality. Inside the ship, the sensation is imperceptible yet profound. You do not feel pain, but there is awareness. The systems maintaining life, the pressurized cabin, the protective shielding, the hum of climate controls, are the thin, delicate lines separating you from a universe that presses inward at the microscopic level. Electrons in your cells, nuclei in your bones, protons and neutrons in every molecule, they all respond differently to the energy imposed by your speed. What is normally invisible, theoretical, or safely distant now becomes a subtle presence, reminding you that the rules of physics govern even the intimate scale of your own body. The universe outside seems calm, serene, almost indifferent. Stars streak past in brilliant trails, cosmic dust blurs in glowing arcs, and galaxies stretch into long, hypnotic ribbons. Yet inside, there is a quiet microcosmic resistance, a friction at the level of fundamental particles that mirrors the vast barriers you face in space. Each attempt to accelerate, each push toward light speed, is accompanied by the silent protest of matter itself, a reminder that the cosmos is not merely empty distance, but a structure in which every level of existence participates. Psychologically, the effect is subtle but hypnotic. You become aware of your body in a new way, not as a collection of organs and tissues, but as a symphony of particles, each with its own rules, rhythms, and limitations. The sensation is both humbling and meditative. Life itself is negotiating with physics, and you are a passenger in a collaboration between biology and the universe. The familiar sense of control diminishes, replaced by the quiet awe of watching your own matter adapt, resist, and yield in harmony with the cosmic scale of motion. Visually and emotionally, the journey continues to impress. Stars compress ahead, colors shift toward the blue, and the illusion of speed bends reality itself. Yet beneath these grand motions, the intimate struggle of atoms adds a hidden layer, a reminder that the journey touches everything from the largest galaxy to the smallest particle. There is a strange intimacy in this. The universe's laws are not distant, abstract, or detached. They reach into the core of who you are, shaping your experience at every scale. And in this delicate, microscopic resistance lies a lesson in humility. The cosmos is vast, powerful, and precise, but it is also intimately connected to every particle of your being. Electrons, protons, and neutrons may resist, but they also teach resilience and balance. You travel not just through space, but through the very forces that define matter itself, learning that the ultimate journey is not merely across light years, but through the interplay of motion, energy, and the living structure of reality itself. As your view narrows into a single bright point, the sky collapses into a tunnel of distorted light. Stars, once scattered across a vast celestial sphere, stretch and converge, forming elongated streaks that seem to rush past like threads of molten glass. Galaxies that once spiraled gracefully now smear into luminous bands, their forms drawn taut by the relentless rhythm of your near light-speed passage. Space itself transforms into a corridor, an endless tunnel guiding your journey, both hypnotic and disorienting, where every point of light feels simultaneously distant and immediate. Inside the ship, the sensation is serene yet surreal. The walls of the vessel, the hum of the engines, and the faint vibrations of systems all create a stable anchor, a private reality amid the collapse of the universe into this glowing corridor. Yet even here, the hypnotic spectacle outside exerts a subtle pull. Eyes trace the stretched trails of stars, minds drift with the bending light, and a quiet understanding emerges. Speed has reshaped not just distance, but perception itself. Every glance outward is a meditation on relativity, a lesson in how motion warps the fabric of space and light. The visual transformation is mesmerizing. Light ahead becomes increasingly concentrated, forming a singular point of brilliance toward which all motion converges. Colors shift and blend in unexpected ways, blues intensify, whites flare, and faint reds stretch into impossibly long ribbons. Nebulae twist and compress, while distant galaxies flatten into sharp streaks, creating a hypnotic mosaic of motion and color. This tunnel is not mere illusion. It is a direct consequence of near-light velocity, a visual echo of the cosmic laws you now navigate with every heartbeat. Psychologically, the effect is profound. The universe, once vast and untouchable, now feels both intimate and overwhelming. Your forward motion is magnified, your trajectory singular, and the cosmic landscape reduced to a corridor that is at once familiar and alien. The tunnel shapes thought and perception, forcing a focus that blends awe with reflection. You become acutely aware of both your movement and your place within the fabric of reality, suspended between sensation and comprehension. Even the passage of time seems altered by this transformation. Each second aboard the vessel flows normally, yet the external world, collapsed into streaks and bands, conveys a sense of elongation, acceleration, and simultaneity that defies ordinary understanding. The universe is no longer a backdrop. It is a dynamic participant in your journey, responding to motion by reshaping light, distance, and perspective. The tunnel effect becomes a visual mantra, a rhythm to which your mind unconsciously attunes, hypnotic in its repetition and ever-changing in its subtle details. Amid this corridor of stretched light, a quiet meditation emerges. Travel at these speeds is not merely a movement through space, but an experience of space itself. Every photon, every distant star, every compressed galaxy reminds you that motion is perception, and perception is transformation. The tunnel is both a guide and a teacher, showing the intimate connection between velocity, light, and the universe's geometric fabric. You glide forward, suspended in this luminous corridor, a traveler in a space that bends, stretches, and whispers its hidden rules. Relativity warps every reference point. Navigation becomes a puzzle of shifting signals and bending distances. The stars you once used as guides no longer occupy fixed positions. Galaxies, nebulae, and even distant pulsars twist and stretch under the effects of near light-speed motion, and conventional maps dissolve into meaningless patterns. The cosmic compass you once trusted, the combination of instruments, coordinates, and intuition, is now an abstract puzzle, a delicate interplay of motion, perception, and the immutable rules of relativity. Inside the ship, instruments struggle to maintain coherence. Signals from home, from orbital satellites, and even from distant beacons arrive late, distorted, and warped. Light itself no longer travels predictably. It bends, compresses, and blue shifts depending on your velocity. What once seemed reliable, a star chart, a GPS reading, or a familiar constellation, is now a variable, shifting with every maneuver and acceleration. The act of navigation transforms into a continuous meditation on physics, requiring constant adjustment, calculation, and awareness of both your trajectory and the relativistic distortions imposed by speed. The effect is both hypnotic and disorienting. Outside, stars stretch into long trails, constellations smear across the window, and familiar patterns are twisted almost beyond recognition. Distances no longer correspond to intuition. What looks nearby may be impossibly distant, and what seems far may be deceptively close. Every glance outward reminds you that perception is no longer absolute, and that the very act of moving reshapes the universe around you. Navigating these extremes demands patience, mindfulness, and a surrender to principles that operate beyond ordinary human experience. Psychologically, the challenge is profound. You are forced into a state of heightened awareness, balancing the internal consistency of your instruments with the ever-changing visual reality outside. The mind must adapt to constant uncertainty, learning to trust calculations and predictions while accepting that they are always provisional. Navigation becomes less a matter of direction and more a meditation on relativity itself, a quiet dialogue between the traveler and the shifting fabric of space. It is a humbling exercise, a reminder that the universe is far larger, stranger, and more precise than any tool, map, or memory could fully encompass. Yet within this challenge lies beauty. The disorienting motion transforms the cosmos into a living puzzle, a kaleidoscope of light and distance. Each recalibration, each careful adjustment brings insight into the hidden patterns of space and the elegant mathematics of motion. The very difficulty of navigation becomes a meditation, a hypnotic rhythm that mirrors the passage of stars, galaxies, and light itself. The universe is no longer a static map. It is dynamic, alive, and intimately responsive to your presence, teaching patience, observation, and the quiet grace of adaptation. As you travel, a profound truth settles gently. Speed and perception are inseparable, and navigation is not simply a technical skill, it is a journey of understanding, a way of listening to the subtle whispers of space-time. GPS, maps, and familiar reference points may fail, but the voyage itself remains a guide, revealing the intimate, shifting geometry of the cosmos. The universe has become a puzzle, yes, but in its complexity lies wonder, and in its uncertainty lies a quiet, hypnotic beauty that carries you forward even when all familiar markers have faded into distortion. To survive, the ship must create an artificial shield, an invisible, self-generated bubble, pushing radiation aside. At near-light speeds, the universe itself becomes a hazard. Gas, dust, cosmic rays, and high-energy photons strike the hull with relentless force, each particle magnified by your velocity into something far more dangerous than its appearance suggests. Ordinary shielding is insufficient. Only a magnetic or plasma bubble, a protective envelope generated by the ship itself, can divert these threats, bending radiation around the vessel like water flowing around a rock. Inside, the sensation is subtle but reassuring. The engines hum with controlled energy. Coils and generators hum with magnetic potential, and a quiet glow of plasma containment shimmers across unseen surfaces. The bubble is invisible to the eye, yet its presence is tangible in the safety it provides. Every photon, every particle, every trace of high-energy radiation is guided gently away, preventing harm while allowing uninterrupted passage through the cosmos. It is a delicate, invisible dance, a harmony between raw physics and advanced engineering, ensuring that the ship and its passengers remain intact despite the violent conditions of near light-speed travel. Visually, the effect is mesmerizing, even if largely hidden. Occasionally, stray radiation interacts with the bubble, creating faint flashes of light or a shimmer across the viewport. Cosmic rays bend in arcs, high-energy photons curve away, and space outside becomes a controlled storm, tamed by invisible hands. The ship appears to glide effortlessly, a calm core amid a maelstrom of forces too powerful to resist unshielded. This is not merely protection, it is an expression of understanding, a mastery of natural laws without defiance, a coexistence with the extreme energies of the universe. Psychologically, the shield brings reassurance but also a quiet awe. The knowledge that every particle, every photon, is accounted for, directed, and managed fosters a sense of intimacy with the cosmos. You become acutely aware of the interplay between motion, energy, and protection. The universe is vast and indifferent, yet through ingenuity, you create a sanctuary within it. Each moment of travel, each second passing through the magnetic bubble, is a meditation on resilience, balance, and the delicate boundary between survival and exposure. The technology itself is a marvel, a reflection of both scientific achievement and cosmic humility. It cannot alter the universe or remove its hazards. It can only work with them, bending forces rather than attempting to overpower them. And in doing so, it mirrors the subtlety of travel at extreme speeds, careful, measured, and entirely dependent on an understanding of physics at its most fundamental level. Even in the quiet of the bubble, the universe continues its motion outside. Stars streak past, nebulae glow faintly, and galaxies elongate into luminous streams. Yet inside, you are safe, cocooned within a field that both shields and teaches. The bubble is not just a defense, it is a lens, offering perspective on the energies and risks that pervade space at relativistic velocities. It is proof that survival, observation, and wonder can coexist, even in the harshest stretches of the cosmos. In this magnetic sanctuary, the journey continues with calm focus. The bubble bends radiation, protects life, and shapes perception, a quiet companion in the hypnotic voyage through space. It reminds you that near light speed travel is not only about motion, but about respect for the forces you traverse, the particles you encounter, and the fragile vessel that carries you through the tunnel of stars. Stretching spacetime requires negative mass, something never observed. The mathematics becomes a dream dissolving under scrutiny. Concepts that seem fantastical in theory, bending space to shorten distance, folding reality to leap across light years, crumble when confronted with the immutable laws of physics. Negative mass, the hypothetical substance needed to create a true warp bubble, remains an elegant illusion. Every equation that promises faster-than-light shortcuts encounters the stark barrier of reality, reminding travelers that imagination has boundaries where the universe has rules. Inside the ship, the paradox is quietly humbling. Engines roar, accelerators hum, and the instruments glow with precision. Yet the laws that govern the cosmos are unwavering. Every push toward extraordinary speed, every thought of bending space itself, must reckon with the fact that space-time is not malleable in ways that serve desire alone. The universe tolerates motion, acceleration, and ingenuity, but it does not tolerate violation of its fundamental structures. Even the most brilliant theoretical models dissolve under scrutiny, leaving only the quiet beauty of limits. Visually, the effect is subtle yet profound. The stars streak past, galaxies blur into elongated ribbons, and light bends and stretches in ways dictated by real motion, not by fantasy. The cosmos continues its rhythms, undisturbed by wishes or designs, attempting to manipulate space-time without the necessary and non-existent ingredients would leave a traveler stranded in a world of calculations that promise much but deliver nothing. What is mathematically enticing is often physically unattainable. What is physically attainable is often quietly magnificent in its own right. Psychologically, the lesson is deep and reflective. Warp drives, in their impossibility, teach patience, respect, and humility. They illustrate that the universe is not merely a backdrop for ambition, but a participant in every journey, shaping what is possible and what remains forever beyond reach. The mind learns to balance curiosity with realism, creativity with constraint, and dreams of interstellar leaps with the quiet, hypnotic progress of travel that is real and attainable. Even in the impossibility, there is inspiration. The mathematics may fail to produce a functioning warp bubble, but it opens the imagination, guiding thought toward understanding the fabric of spacetime itself. Travelers gain insight into relativity, energy, and the delicate interplay between mass, motion, and the structure of the cosmos. Every calculation, every hypothetical scenario becomes a meditation on limits, a reflection on the elegance of laws that are absolute, even as they inspire wonder. The beauty of reality, in contrast to fantasy, emerges gently. Relativity, momentum, energy, and the speed of light provide boundaries that are not obstacles but guides. They teach the subtle rhythms of space, the interconnections of matter and motion, and the quiet poetry of a universe that balances freedom with constraint. Warp drives may break physics, but in their impossibility lies the reminder that exploration is not merely about bypassing laws, it is about understanding, respecting, and marveling at them. And so, suspended in the hum of engines and the glow of instruments, the traveler learns the paradoxical truth: the universe is both strict and magnificent. Limits do not diminish wonder, they shape it. Physics is not an enemy of imagination, it is the medium through which awe flows, steady, unbroken, and infinitely deep. Every journey, bounded as it may be, carries the traveler through a cosmos more intricate, beautiful, and hypnotic than any dream of warp could ever achieve. Even if a wormhole existed, holding one open requires exotic matter. Without it, the tunnel collapses before anyone enters. The idea of stepping through a doorway and emerging light years away is tantalizing, a dream of instant travel across cosmic oceans. Yet physics has a quiet, unyielding rule: the universe resists shortcuts. Exotic matter, with its negative energy density, is necessary to stabilize a wormhole, but none has ever been observed. The tunnel remains a fragile promise, a beautiful illusion hovering at the edge of possibility. Inside the ship, contemplation of such impossibilities brings both awe and humility. You imagine the corridor of space-time bending in precise arcs, the edges held open by an unseen force, a bridge across distances that would otherwise consume lifetimes. Yet reality whispers. Such stability requires more than imagination or engineering. It demands substances that may not exist, and energies beyond reach. Even the most sophisticated designs are theoretical, sketches of a dream that reality cannot fully accommodate. Visually, wormholes are hypnotic in concept. The tunnel would curve light and matter, stretching stars and galaxies into impossible shapes, compressing entire swaths of space into a visible doorway. Colors would distort, brightness would intensify, and motion through the portal would feel like gliding through the very essence of space-time itself. Yet all this remains hypothetical. Without exotic matter, the tunnel collapses, leaving no pathway, only the echo of a possibility that brushes tantalizingly against the edges of imagination. Psychologically, the lesson is profound. Wormholes remind travelers that the universe is as strict as it is magnificent. Every shortcut carries a price, every dream a boundary. Desire alone cannot bend reality. Understanding, patience, and acceptance of limitations are essential. The mind, when faced with the impossibility of stable wormholes, turns inward, finding wonder in the attainable mysteries of space, in the subtle dance of particles, radiation, and gravity that define motion, distance, and light. Even in their impossibility, wormholes teach resilience and curiosity. They encourage thought experiments that expand comprehension of relativity, energy, and space-time. They illuminate the extreme conditions required for traversal and highlight the elegance and fragility of the cosmos. Every failed or hypothetical shortcut underscores the beauty of ordinary travel at near light speeds, a journey constrained by laws, yet enriched by perspective, discovery, and reflection. The universe, in this lesson, is neither cruel nor indifferent. It is precise. It rewards ingenuity while enforcing boundaries, offering grandeur and terror in equal measure. Wormholes are a symbol of human longing, a dream that stretches the imagination and reminds us that some paths, no matter how alluring, are barred by the fabric of reality itself. In the quiet of the ship, as stars blur and the tunnel of motion stretches endlessly ahead, wormholes exist as ideas, not realities. They shimmer in the mind like distant fire, inspiring thought without violating law. And in that shimmering, you glimpse the delicate balance between ambition and understanding, desire and physics, dreaming and traveling, the true journey through a universe that is as uncompromising as it is hypnotically beautiful. At 99.9% of light speed, even a floating hydrogen atom becomes lethal. The universe, once imagined as vast and empty, transforms into a minefield of energy, each particle a tiny projectile with force magnified by your incredible velocity. What seems innocuous, the most delicate speck of matter drifting in the void, becomes a threat. A reminder that motion at the edge of light speed is not simply travel, but a confrontation with the hidden potency of the cosmos. Inside the ship, this danger is invisible, yet ever present. Sensors flicker continuously, detecting every particle in your path, however small. Shields flare, magnetic or plasma fields hum, and the ship itself vibrates with the energy of countless collisions averted. Each microparticle that strikes at near-light velocity releases energy akin to a meteor impact, sending shockwaves through protective systems. The quiet hum of instruments is a constant reminder that survival depends on vigilance, foresight, and understanding of physics at its most extreme. Visually, the universe becomes a hypnotic blur of motion. Stars stretch into elongated streaks, nebulae smear like paint across the cosmic canvas, and the occasional particle interaction manifests as a brief, scintillating flash of light on the sensors or hull. What once seemed empty now pulses with invisible energy, a dynamic field of hazards that challenge the very notion of empty space. The void is no longer a calm backdrop. It is alive with possibility and consequence, a subtle but relentless force pressing against the fragile vessel. Psychologically, the presence of such omnipresent danger reshapes perception. The mind becomes attuned to the invisible, the microscopic, the almost impossibly small. Awareness stretches beyond ordinary limits, incorporating a sense of hypervigilance tempered by trust in technology and preparation. There is awe in realizing that even the most insignificant atom can become a formidable adversary at these velocities. It is a lesson in humility, a meditation on scale, and a quiet acknowledgement of the universe's hidden potency. The danger, paradoxically, is also a form of beauty. Each particle, each micro-collision, is a reminder of the intricate interplay between motion, energy, and matter. The universe at near light speed reveals its raw, energetic geometry, showing the traveler both vulnerability and the extraordinary precision of cosmic law. Every avoided collision becomes a testament to understanding, foresight, and harmony with the forces that shape existence. As you glide forward, every second of travel feels measured, intentional, and weighty. The path through space is no longer simply a trajectory. It is a careful negotiation with the unseen, a silent dialogue between vessel and cosmos. Even in the seeming emptiness, there is presence, force, and consequence. Ultimately, the lesson is subtle but profound. At near light speed, there is no empty space. The universe is a field of energy, waiting to remind the traveler that motion magnifies even the smallest particles into forces that demand respect. Every atom carries the weight of potential destruction, yet also the quiet elegance of cosmic law. Moving through this invisible minefield is a meditation on caution, awareness, and awe. A hypnotic passage through the delicate balance between speed, survival, and wonder. Light bouncing inside a ship no longer behaves predictably. Even reflections bend reality. At near light speeds, the familiar behavior of photons, the simple way they travel, reflect, and illuminate, becomes distorted, governed by the same relativistic rules that govern your motion through the cosmos. Mirrors that once provided simple feedback now reveal warped images. Walls appear elongated, objects shift subtly in shape, and the reflection of yourself feels out of sync with expectation. Even perception, the most intimate interface with reality, begins to fracture under the influence of extreme velocity. Inside the cabin, this subtle distortion creates a strange hypnotic sensation. Instruments and control panels continue to function, yet the very light that illuminates them behaves differently, bending in unexpected ways. A glance into a mirror is no longer a reassurance of familiarity, but a moment of gentle disorientation. A reminder that motion near light speed warps not just space outside the ship, but the space in which you exist, perceive, and act. The visual effects are mesmerizing and disorienting in equal measure. Reflected beams curve subtly, colors shift as wavelengths compress, and edges of objects appear stretched along the axis of motion. A single glance might reveal a control lever seemingly farther away than it truly is, or a hand reflected in a distorted elongation, reminding you that even the most mundane perceptions are relative. The ship becomes a small theater, in which light itself performs an intricate, hypnotic dance, echoing the grand distortions of the cosmos outside, but scaled down to the intimate world of your vessel. Psychologically, the effect is quietly humbling. Even in the controlled environment of your ship, reality is not fixed. What you see and what exists are no longer identical, and every reflection becomes a meditation on perception, motion, and relativity. The mind must adapt, learning to interpret distorted cues and trust instruments over intuition. It is a gentle lesson in humility. At extreme velocities, even the seemingly certain is malleable, and even the familiar requires constant attention and adjustment. There is, however, a subtle beauty in the phenomenon. Shadows, reflections, and colors remind you that the universe is alive with geometry, physics, and subtle interplay. Each distorted reflection is a miniature echo of the vast relativistic theater unfolding beyond the hull, turning the ship into a microcosm of motion, energy, and perception. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, and every glance into a mirror is a quiet meditation on the rules that govern reality itself. Even the passage of time seems reflected in these subtle distortions. Light takes longer paths, images shift in anticipation of motion, and every reflection hints at the intimate connection between velocity, space, and perception. Inside, you are grounded, yet your senses are continuously challenged. Mirrors no longer simply reflect, they reveal, distort, and teach. Ultimately, the relativistic mirror problem is a gentle, hypnotic reminder that near light-speed travel transforms even the most mundane aspects of life. Reflection, perception, and reality are intertwined with motion and energy. The ship, the traveler, and the bending light exist together in a delicate, mesmerizing ballet. Normally, harmless microwave radiation becomes concentrated into gamma rays, enough to destroy a ship from the inside. The quiet, pervasive glow that bathes the universe in gentle microwaves, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself, transforms when approached at near light speeds. What is gentle and ubiquitous at rest becomes a torrent of energetic photons, striking the hull, penetrating shielding, and threatening everything within. Space, usually serene and silent, asserts its presence with a force that is invisible but absolute. Inside the ship, the danger is silent but omnipresent. Instruments hum warnings, shields strain under the unrelenting energy, and subtle vibrations ripple through the hull as the high-energy radiation interacts with protective fields. Ordinary materials, designed for slower journeys, cannot withstand the concentrated gamma rays, Even advanced alloys and composites absorb energy, heating, ionizing, and destabilizing microscopic structures. Survival depends on a delicate balance of shielding, speed modulation, and constant monitoring. Every moment is a negotiation between motion and matter, velocity and vulnerability. Visually, the effect is hypnotic in a frightening way. The universe ahead glows with a pale, compressed brilliance. Light, normally comforting and distant, intensifies into invisible streams that can only be sensed through instruments. Stars and galaxies blur past, but the true hazard is imperceptible. A hidden storm of energy that turns the vacuum of space into a potential furnace. The very essence of the cosmos, previously thought benign, now becomes an adversary, proof that even emptiness carries a hidden potency. Psychologically, the knowledge is profound. The universe is not merely vast, it is active in subtle ways. Motion transforms perception, but also danger. What seems empty is full of force, and the very photons that carry the story of the universe now bear the weight of potential destruction. Awareness sharpens, intuition grows cautious, and the traveler learns patience, foresight, and respect. Each second of near light speed travel is both journey and lesson, an intimate encounter with the hidden power of cosmic energy. The effect also reveals the beauty and precision of physics. The transformation of gentle microwaves into lethal gamma rays is not capricious. It is a direct consequence of relativistic blue shift. The universe behaves predictably, consistently, but at scales beyond ordinary intuition. Every photon, every particle, every burst of energy demonstrates the elegance and subtlety of laws that govern reality. Danger and beauty coexist, interwoven in the very fabric of space and motion. Even amid the threat, the passage is hypnotic. Instruments glow softly, shielding flares with controlled brilliance, and the mind finds rhythm in vigilance. Survival is a meditation on preparation, understanding, and the intimate laws that shape existence. The cosmic microwave background, once a whisper of the Big Bang, now roars like an invisible river of energy, demanding attention and respect. Ultimately, near light-speed travel transforms the familiar into the extraordinary, the benign into the lethal, and the silent into the powerful. The universe is no longer a passive backdrop. It is an active, energetic, and beautiful participant in the journey. To navigate it safely is to understand, respect, and marvel at the subtle, hypnotic forces that shape all motion, matter, and light. Travel near light speed, and the cosmos you return to is older, its stars changed, its cultures transformed. Time, once a shared rhythm between you and your surroundings, stretches and warps. Onboard, seconds tick by with comforting consistency. Your heart beats, your mind thinks, your ship hums along a familiar cadence. Outside, however, decades, centuries, even millennia pass in the blink of your personal clock. You leave one reality behind and return to another, a universe subtly or profoundly different from the one you departed. Inside the ship, life continues as if nothing has changed. Engines thrum, instruments glow, and human routines persist in comforting familiarity. Meals are prepared, logs are kept, and moments are shared in real time. Yet the stark awareness of relativity pervades everything. Every glance at the viewport, every chart plotting distant stars, carries the quiet knowledge that the cosmos beyond is moving forward without you. While you experience hours or days, the universe experiences centuries, sweeping civilizations, planetary systems, and galactic structures through the inexorable march of time. Visually, the effect is subtle at first, almost imperceptible. Familiar constellations remain, yet their stars burn differently, some having aged into red giants, others faded into white dwarfs or vanished entirely. Nebulae shift, expand, and fade. The clouds of gas that once cradled newborn stars now dispersed or transformed. Planets orbit with altered rhythms, cosmic landscapes subtly evolved. Reminders that time is a river, in which even the grandest scales flow unceasingly. Psychologically, the experience is profound and disorienting. You are a traveler suspended between time frames. Your body, your mind, and your memories are anchored to your personal clock. Yet the universe moves independently, beyond your reach. This duality is humbling. Cultures, languages, histories that once felt current may have transformed, vanished, or evolved in unimaginable ways. Friends and family, institutions and traditions all continue without pause, indifferent to your absence. It is a quiet lesson in impermanence, in the relative nature of existence, and in the intimate connection between time, motion, and experience. Emotionally, there is awe intertwined with melancholy. The cosmos does not wait. Stars live and die, civilizations rise and fall, and even the smallest moments carry forward into an unalterable future. The traveler learns that movement at near light speed is not merely displacement through space, it is displacement through time itself. Returning home may reveal wonders that have evolved beyond recognition, and yet it also carries the isolation of having experienced far less subjective time than the universe around you. Ultimately, the lesson is both humbling and beautiful. The universe ages without you, but your journey allows you to witness it from a unique perspective, revealing patterns, transformations, and the inexorable rhythm of cosmic life. Time is no longer a single, shared flow. It is a tapestry of personal experience against the ever-evolving backdrop of stars, galaxies, and civilizations. To travel near light speed is to glimpse eternity in fragments, to live moments intensely while the universe ages in silence, and to return forever changed by the subtle, hypnotic passage of time itself. As our journey through the limits of light speed slowly unwinds, we return to a simple, humbling truth. The universe isn't denying us the stars. It's inviting us to understand them more deeply. Tonight, we drifted through the quiet machinery of reality, discovering why mass grows heavier with motion, why time stretches and bends, and why even the most advanced starships will forever slow as they chase the shimmering edge of light. We learned that every grain of dust becomes a storm at high velocity, that radiation turns fierce, and that space-time itself presses gently against our ambitions. Yet within these rules is a kind of cosmic compassion, a structure that keeps worlds stable, keeps time in order, and keeps the universe balanced in a way that allows life, us, to exist at all. So as you settle deeper into rest, take a quiet moment to be grateful. Grateful that we are part of a universe, both vast and delicate, fierce yet beautifully predictable. Grateful that our curiosity can roam farther than our bodies ever will. And grateful that even if we can't touch the speed of light, we can still chase its meaning, in questions, in dreams, and in the gentle wonder that fills nights like this. May your thoughts drift softly now, like a ship gliding through calm interstellar seas. May your breath slow, your mind unwind, and your journey continue in the peaceful darkness behind your eyes. Thank you for traveling with me tonight. Sleep well, traveler of the stars.